Chapter 8. Water and its sources. Water is the key to life. Everyone needs it, and not just for drinking but for many other purposes also. Different sources of water. There are different sources of water. In early times, people drew water from many sources like diggis, boalies, pyas, etc. Let us know about them. Diggis and wells. A diggi was a square or circular reservoir of about 0.38 meter by 0.38 meter with steps to enter. Each diggi had its own sliding gates. People were not allowed to bath or wash clothes on the stairs of the diggi. However, one was free to take water for personal use. People generally hired a kahar or mashki to draw water from the diggis. Most of the houses had either their own wells or had smaller diggis on their compound. In the event of canal waters not reaching the town and the diggis consequently running dry, wells were the main sources of water. Wells are dug to bring underground water to the surface. The water is drawn out in several ways. It is drawn out with a rope and bucket using a pulley. A water wheel is also used to pull water from wells. It has buckets attached to the wheel. When the wheel is moved, the buckets pull water, which is then sent to the fields. Baolis, step wells. Baolis or Bawdi, Hindi, also called step wells or Barav, Marathi, or Vav, Gujarati, are wells or ponds in which the water may be reached by descending a set of steps. They also may be multi-storied, having a bullock which turns the water wheel, rehet, to raise the water in the well to the first or second floor. These baolis were structures from which everyone could draw water. Gandhak ki baoli, so named because its water has gandhak or sulfur. The water of this beautiful rock-hewn baoli is still used for washing and bathing. Adjacent to this, there are the ruins of other baolis like Rajon ki baoli, a baoli in the Dargah of Kaki Sahib, and a cave baoli behind Mahavir's Sthal. Pyas. In villages and cities, some charitable organizations or people keep clean drinking water in clay pots along the roadside. This is a pyao. The water is served free to thirsty travelers. Nowadays, pyao is also available in water tanks made of aluminium and plastic. Hand pump. Hand pump is used for bringing water from beneath of the earth and is used almost in every house in the world. But do you know how does hand pump work? There are many reasons of hand pumps working. Since starting water pump from ancient time, water pump works under the principle of pressure theory. Hand pump. There are two sticks. One is top side and other is bottom side, and which is sealed by a valve. When with hand pressure, top stick rise above and take some water, but bottom stick, which is sealed by a tight valve, does not send it again to valve. So water will reach outside, and after this we can use this water. Piped water. From water treatment plants, water travels through smaller mains, flowing into the network of pipes in our towns and cities. All the water that then flows into our homes is of drinking water quality. In some areas, it can take up to a week for the water to get from the treatment works to our homes, and more chlorine is be added to ensure that it is still clean when it comes through our taps. Sources of irrigation. India receives a lot of rainfall from the monsoons, but it is not evenly distributed. To grow crops, we need a sufficient and timely supply of water throughout the year. This is possible only through irrigation. The different sources of irrigation in India are wells, tube wells, tanks and canals. Tube well. A tube well is a water well consisting of a long tube bored into the ground. Tube wells are fast and easy to install. It is necessary to use a pump with a tube well to draw water up from the well to the surface. Pumps can be operated by hand or with an engine. Some rely on electric supply to run an electric motor and tend to be more environmental friendly. Caps at the top of the tube well prevent contamination from above, keeping the component of the well as clean as possible. Pond. A pond is a body of standing water either natural or man-made, that is usually smaller than a lake. They may arise naturally in floodplains as part of a river system. They may be somewhat isolated depressions. Usually they contain shallow water with marsh and aquatic plants and animals. Humans also make ponds. A wide variety of man-made bodies of water are classified as ponds. Water tank. Tank irrigation is the most feasible and widely practiced method of irrigation all over the South India. Most of the tanks are small in size and built by individuals or groups of farmers by raising bonds across seasonal streams. The soil of Channel's plateau is hard and stony, and so it is not easy to dig canals or wells in those areas. There are big tanks which have been created by raising high bonds on one side of the valley of hills. Small channels are dug out of both the sides of the tanks to irrigate lands. In rural areas of the South India, there are large numbers of small tanks for irrigation, but such tanks dry up during critical drought period and don't help in irrigation. Canals. A canal is an artificial waterway constructed to allow the passage of boats or ships inland or to convey water for irrigation. This is the most convenient method of irrigation. About half of the total area under irrigation by canals is situated in Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Andhra Pradesh. It is easy to dig canals in these areas since the land is level and soil soft. Canal. There are two types of canals: perennial canals and inundation canals. Artificial reservoirs are created by constructing anicuts, barrages or dams across rivers for perennial canals. Irrigation is being done in the Mahanadi Delta area by constructing barrages at Naraj and at Jobra of Cuttack city across the Mahanadi and at Chhodwar across the river Bhirupa. When there is excessive flow of water in the rivers in flood, the extra water flows in the canals rising from those rivers. Such canals are effective only during floods. Hence, those are known as inundation canals. This type of canal is very few in number in the country, more in Punjab than